Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Max Pat Dating Podcast. Today we got a really good episode. I'm joined here by my mate Andy Holt from the UK. What's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for
Hey,
coming on.
Joel. Good to
Hey,
speak again.
likewise.
Yeah, different channel this time, new channel.
Yeah, we're switching it up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're really excited about this one because if you can read in the description, Andy and I, about a year ago, we talk about maybe once every week or so on the side. And we've both worked very hard to step out of the player life, so to say, and the open dating, let's just say that. And we have learned how to be way more intentional with our dating, and it's yielded great results. I have a girlfriend right now. Andy, you're starting to have a much more fulfilling dating life. And we're really going to dive into some ways that guys you can get out there and start maybe making that transition from I think what a lot of guys find themselves in, like a dating life that isn't very fulfilling, that's maybe feels a bit empty, to something to where you're actually building connections with the women that you want and having something wholesome and just the whole gambit, which is really where guys want. That's why guys get into dating in the first place, is
Mm.
to get that. So, Andy, why don't you start taking us off by a bit of your dating history, why you decided to make this pivot, and what life like is now that you've made that transition?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we've been discussing this topic privately for, I don't know, a number of months now. It just takes me back to the video that I made last year on dating avoidant women, right?
Hmm.
And that video was a little bit of my own personal experience with dating avoidant women and the reasons why, and then the real reason for that video was because it was to help you, right? It was in response because at the time you was going through like a breakup with an avoidant,
Hmm.
and we started to sort of pull together all these similar traits that you do see, and it's not specifically around dating avoidant people. It's more why are you getting that yourself into that situation in the first place? And one of the things that I've done is I've managed to, let's say, look into and analyze why you would actually choose such a relationship in the first place. So why would you naturally choose an avoidant person, and what you're trying to sort of get away from? And the other thing that I guess we spoke about is I'm going to say there's been a bit of a it became, I'm going to say it became cool and trendy to be the guy that spins plates, right? Just have many,
Hmm.
many women on the go and never settle, not commit to any one woman, but just date casually.
Yeah.
But when you're in that sort of, dating casual and in that sort of frame of mind, you're really avoiding what you should be doing, which is like dating intentionally, basically. So
Hmm.
that's like, you're avoiding any sort of serious situations. You're not getting too close to anyone, and choosing avoidant people is generally like, where they live far away and things like this. So,
For
uh,
sure.
a lot of it is your own avoidance, really. It's your own
Mm.
avoidance to sort of face up to the truth and be vulnerable. So, to me, um, dating intentionally is, yeah, having, let's say, some boundaries and standards, but also being prepared to risk your own vulnerability, which is,
Mm.
if you look at your own personal thing, your own personal journey, if you aren't dating intentionally, you'll probably realize that, you're probably putting off, or there's some form of avoidance there of why you're choosing that life, and
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly. Like, you attract who you are. So if you're attracting avoidant women, that means there's an avoidant part of you that's being put at the forefront. And that's exactly what it was for me. I know, like, I was like, I didn't want to get too close to people. I didn't want to have to show them real sides of myself. And so it
mm,
was easier to date somebody that I knew nothing long term was going to happen, or where there was, potential where maybe something would happen, but it wouldn't be for years. I know that was something, a pattern you and I both had, is that we date a girl that potentially could be long term, but it would have to be like a 3-4 year investment before
it
even
could be
that
10.
talk would happen. Exactly. Exactly. And I remember you
Yeah.
telling me, Joel or Andy, you're like, Joel, if you don't like fix this, like you might be like chasing this girl for 10 years and then she might break you. Just walk away. I'm like, shoot.
Yeah, like I said in the avoidant video, if you date someone like that and they're super avoidant, and let's say like in your case, I think you had what, maybe a 2 or 3 hour flight to sort of connect you to or something, or a drive. Was she
Mhm.
2 hours away?
2
Um,
hours. Yeah.
so you could do that for years, right? And I mean
Mhm.
like 2, 3 years doing that. And the progression of that, and I do believe, as a guy, you shouldn't be chasing a relationship or anything like that. It's better if the woman does it, moves it along because it's quite feminine. But if you're in a scenario where you see this girl once a month and she's 2 hours away or 3 hours away, and it keeps going, you could do that for like fucking years, absolutely
Yeah.
years, before you actually um
Even have the talk, even have
yeah,
the
well,
discussion.
whether you need the talk, but it just becomes Groundhog Day, right?
Yeah.
And eventually we've got goals in our lives. We have to get somewhere, and
Mhm.
you're just not making any sort of personal development or any profession, and that's one form of avoidance. Another one, which is more related to casual dating and plate spinning, is like what you'll probably see in expat dating. When you do the cold approach,
Mhm.
right? Your I would presume that your whole uh, core offering there is to improve people's social skills so they can meet women, right?
Exactly.
But you and I both know there are guys that do that have been doing it for decades, right?
Yep.
And they're still doing it. And let's say you've
Decades.
done that for 10 years, 20 years, and you've not had a proper relationship, and it's just new, 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 next, 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 next. That's
Mhm.
also a massive form of avoidance. It's like, if you're, what is the highest, what's the highest game in dating? The most hardest game to play, I would say, is marriage.
Mhm.
Right. Next level down from
Yep.
that is like committed relationship.
Yep.
Next level down from that is what you call a girlfriend, and then next level down from that is just like total casual dating, where you just get a new girl every week, or
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, every couple of weeks or whatever. And to me, that is still avoid, because like if all you do is get good at attraction, right? How are you ever going to get relationship skills? Or you're still avoiding creating something meaningful. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
yeah.
That's I recently got in a committed relationship, and there were so many things that I had to face about myself that I couldn't even like even comprehend when I was spinning
Mm,
plates, because it's like, okay, you don't have to have difficult conversations. You don't have to, again, show them your full side of yourself. Like they don't spend that much time with you if you're just having casual dates. But once you
mm,
actually get into a relationship, those parts of yourself that I think many of us have turned off to, like, yeah, I don't want this part of me I don't find attractive. This part of me I don't want to show to people. That's going to come
mm,
out. If you're spending enough time with somebody, they're going to see those sides of you. And so I think to your points, like relationships, long-term relationships, you have to kind of start to let go of that avoidant behavior and
mm.
learn how to be vulnerable, learn how to be open. And of course, those words get thrown around a bunch, but it's really true.
Yeah.
My girl, she what was really cool is on our third date, she asked me, she's like, "Hey, this is what I want. I want something committed. I want exclusivity, and you know, I'm not demanding it from you, but for me to go forward, this is what I want." And I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
perfect. Like that's what I want too. Let's give it a shot, right?"
Isn't that refreshing though, right? To have a girl that's just direct like that. I mean, obviously you've put the work in, you got the 3 dates out of the way. I do believe there's something special about the third date, isn't there?
Hmm.
Right, but you got that out of the way, and then she was just straight out and honest with you, and I think that's really good. I mean, um, it's either one extreme or the other. With an avoidant, you never have that fucking chat, right? And
Bro.
sorry, I shouldn't swear. I don't know if
No,
it's
we're past
um,
5 minutes. You can swear.
all right, okay. So with an avoidant, you should never have that. You never have that chat. But then with some other people, like other girl, you'll get it on date one, you know, like turn up and go, well, this is what I expect. I want something serious and all that. You're like, gee, we've just met, you know.
Yeah,
And it's like,
that might
well,
be too
get it at
soon.
the right time. I've just
Yeah.
noticed, I think Chris has joined us on the stream and
Oh,
he
sick.
put
What's up,
like
Chris?
a bunch of comments. Yeah, if you go to the comments tab.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, because and to wrap up this little segment here, like when I was dating the girl that I broke up with that started this whole conversation between you and I,
mm.
it was like 8 months before we had the conversation, and it was the most awkward conversation. And she was like completely like turned off, and I was like,
Did,
dude, I just
did you
wasted 8 months.
did you initiate the conversation?
At that point, I had to, and I because it was like I was
Well,
8 months in. I'm
this is
like,
what I mean, right? 8 months you
yes,
waited. It could have been 2 years. And I remember saying to you at the
yeah,
time, I was like, Joel, if you don't say something or do something, this is just going to go on.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and that gave me the boost actually. And then very quickly, I'm like, I realized, oh, like she gave a very like wishy-washy answer, like, yeah, I want
Yeah.
to keep getting to know you. I'm like I've known you for 8 months, like almost a year, like, and then like, good God. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, let's drop some of what's up, Chris? Good to see you again, man. Actually, I'm going the opposite way. Okay, so this one, most avoidants don't know they're avoidant. We just find that we always want what we can't fully have, and then don't have the spark with those we could have. Dive into this one,
Yeah.
Andy. That's spot on.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say we find that we always want what we can't fully have. Well, that's kind of the avoidant thing. That's like, you know, no one's ever quite good enough. And
Hmm.
something that we spoke about, Joel, which is to work hard on, is sometimes you end up, let's say, wasting time with someone that you're not really fully committed to.
Hmm.
And what you really ought to do is have the discipline to cut them off. Not
Exactly,
in a
man.
brutal way, but it's like, you know, cutting off them um, almost do girls, you know, like they're on, you know, they're almost good enough, but they're not good enough. And it's
Hmm.
like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just wasting your time, you know what I mean? And it's kind of an avoidance strategy to keep that going.
Totally.
You know, rather than just cutting them off and just going, right, that's not quite right. Let's just date with intent and whatever. And because you're not creating that real space for something meaningful to happen, you know. And I think
Exact.
that's what's going on there.
Yeah, exactly. Put like, there's something about that's really powerful when you start to say, hey, this person from the get-go, like even from date one, that hey, this person actually I can already tell isn't going to be in alignment with what I'm looking for down long term.
Yeah.
I got to walk away. And that's, I mean, that was very tough to learn for sure. And I remember you and I would have the conversation. Like, I found a video myself where basically the video was like, if you keep dating people that you know aren't good for you, just to get a high, just to get, you know, a thrill. And not saying these girls aren't or people aren't good for other people. So anybody out there that's gonna be like, they're just like they're judging women on their quality. No, some girl
No.
that's a 10 for me is not going to be a 10 for Andy and vice versa. But the point being is that what he said was like, if you're doing that consistently, you're out of integrity. And when I heard that, I went,
Yeah.
oh, because I'm saying I was saying I wanted a relationship, but I was going around and just sleeping around and dating girls that were like not like healthy or whatever it might be, like whatever the flag was for me. I was just
Mm.
ignoring that just so I could get some pleasure. And I really had to look in the mirror and be like, I have to cut this off if I actually want what I really have. 'Cause I'm just lying to myself at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you have to get all like super deep about it all. I mean, um, for me, I think what it was like. I think it's quite easy to spin plates, right? Well, it's not. I mean, you've got to be able to attract them in the first place, right? But let's say you can get a bit of a rotation going, right? And I think maintaining a rotation is actually quite easy. But
Once you get the skill set, Yep. Once you
Yeah,
develop
yeah,
that
once
skill
you get
set,
the skill
for
set,
sure.
like what you teach, right? So
Yeah.
what you teach, Joel, makes part you guys, you and Jaren and the guys there. What you teach is to get that skill set, right? But once you get that
Mhm.
down, it's quite easy to sort of get a rotation going. But I think what we're talking about is just plainly like, you know, if you're spending your time entertaining a rotation, how the hell are you going to get what you want out of life? It's just like a matter of we have only got so much time, money, resources, and yeah, you know, it can be good fun, but if it gets to the point where like if all you're doing it for is just for let's call it easy lays or what, I don't know what the right, I don't want to
Dopamine.
talk too
Dopamine,
crude. Yeah, it's
even.
a dopamine fix,
Yeah.
right? That's exactly what it is. Whereas, you know, it's almost like develop the discipline to not do that and focus on what you really want. And you
Yep.
don't have to get all fucking preachy about it or anything. I guess it's just like,
I had to get preachy with myself though, because I kept ignoring
yeah,
my
you
own
do.
comments. I'm like, Joel, we got to make a change, man. I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm just wasting my time.
yeah, I get that, but also like, you know, we go through cycles, right? Um, in our lives. Let's say you've just had a big relationship and you've come out of it, your heart's been fucking trampled on. You're not going to go into another one. You probably are going to spin plates for a bit or do a bit of casual dating for a bit.
Which is healthy. I agree.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So you go through phases that, but then like after a few years, like one of the things that like we spoke about and I did, I think I was almost addicted to a lifestyle that involved jumping on a plane,
Mm,
going to a random country, doing whatever I was doing, meeting people, all that kind of thing, coming back, and then just keep doing that all the time. And I was doing it fucking loads 2 years ago, and I just become tired of it. You know, I thought,
hmm
and I think even that was an addiction, like the lifestyle and things like that. And it was basically my equivalent of um, avoiding doing what I really needed to do for myself, which this year is more like, you know, I'm creating new businesses, I'm getting my head down, I'm going to try and do more training, more focus on the things that I need. So right now, I'm like really preserving my energy in terms of time, money, resources. Absolutely every decision I make needs to be with intent right now.
hmm Oh, I love that,
You
man.
know, because I've got like two businesses to focus on, make them successful, all that kind of thing, you know.
Can't be
Um,
running around. I
yeah.
my biggest my probably the best month I had was like I was seeing like 9 girls at once. I got zero work done. Lo and behold. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can't, it's just not sustainable for growth.
And it's bloody tiring as well, right? I mean, after a bit, you know what I mean? But I remember, do you know, I don't really listen to much content like that, but I caught a video years ago by AMS,
Mm,
right? And I think he was saying eventually you'll get tired of that. You're just fed up of spinning plates and you just want to knock it on the head and just get something stable. And even he
yes.
said like, you know, people go through phases, and I think that's correct, to be honest. You know, we go through phases. Maybe we have times in our life like another one that's sort of driven it for me is I would say is the spiritual journey stuff. You know, like more of the mindfulness work that I've been doing with Roberto has
hmm
made me much more focused. And you know, I was with him today on meditation, and we had a good chat on Monday. And he was sort of saying he watched a podcast where he was just saying, you know, Andy, you're not. I watched a podcast where we're not supposed to be doing that much travel as humans, and it affects all
Mm,
your hormones and your balance and all this.
wow.
And I think I need a bit more routine for
Mm,
myself. Um, So yeah, I actually feel much happier right now, just
nice.
working more and
Wow, that's
working out, you
awesome.
know.
Yeah, man. Look at that stud. Look at that G. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. Like travel can actually like because if you think about like our ancestors,
Yeah.
travel was like a stressful time for them. It meant that like their place was of home was getting uprooted, or they were scarce of food or something like that. So I
Mm,
guess maybe primarily it could signal like if you're doing too much of it, like something's not stable, something's not right in a,
mm,
in a in a way. So I appreciate you sharing that because I have like yet to do a lot of travel, and that's like one of my goals. But now I can go into it with maybe a little less pressure. Like, oh, I have to go visit 20 countries this year. Hey, maybe I'll just
yeah.
go to Italy for a couple months. Boom, and that can be
Well,
enough.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, travel's good. I love it, and I kind of like love that lifestyle. But recently, I've got so much to do, in terms of business and things like that. And also, I committed a shit ton of money to the new business, so it's like
Yeah,
that's my travel budget for the year gone. Um,
sure.
so
So, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I need to make. Well, it's like you've got to make it work. When um, you commit to something, it's like in the UK we say your cock's on the block. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like you've got to make it work
ah,
basically.
I
Um,
like that one. I
so
like
yeah,
your cocks on the block. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's motivation. Jesus
yeah. It
Christ.
is.
And I like what
Yeah.
you said about phases too. Like, I think that's a really important thing a way to frame it
Mm,
because, like, when I look back at like high school, like I had a blast in high school and like in it, I was having tons of fun and it's where I wanted to be. But I will never ever want to go back to high school again. So I think that can be applied to like dating as well. Like I do believe, and that's why we teach guys need to learn how to
mm,
go be able to date abundantly and meet a bunch of different women so that they can choose and understand who's going to be best for them long term in terms of
mm,
compatibility. If I wouldn't have dated as much as I did, I wouldn't have known what I like and what's important to me and what things I can, maybe let slide a little bit, but what things are like hard boundaries. Like for me, smoking cigarettes or partying is a no go. Like that is
yeah.
absolutely no. But when I started dating, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like we're gonna have a fun time. Like who cares if they party on the weekend? But I had to go through a lot of dating to realize that. So I think guys can like it's important for guys to kind of get that out of their system. And
Mm,
even in the Bible, there's like a Solomon. He was like basically the Bible's playboy. He apparently like he even talks about in the Bible like to find a godly woman. And I'm not a Christian or anything, but I think it's a very important passage because whenever a Christian argues that like you shouldn't be dating, you can be like, well, Solomon actually said that
yeah.
to find a godly woman, you have to date a lot and you have to experience what isn't a godly woman. So that really
Okay.
resonated with me. Like that, yeah, even in the Bible, he says like it's okay to go and date and have options. So that is a phase that many guys have to go through. But then at
Mm,
some point, like you said, been saying, Andy, and what we have been experiencing, you just get tired of it. You just get tired of, feeling empty or having someone leave and you're like, oh, I'm still alone and all or however you want to phrase it. That can sound a little gloom and doomy, but there's an
mm.
element of that. So what are your kind of like how have you pivoted out of that space into more intentional dating for yourself? What does that look like
Well,
for you now?
I've gone even further than that at the minute. Flipping heck, intentional. Bloody hell. I'm like, most of my time at the minute is very focused on what I need to do in terms of
Hmm.
business, training, health, reading, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I've just sort of like took a look at what I've been doing over because like a few years ago, like I just got a bit of you things were going well and this, that, and the other, and I just decided to um, experiment a bit. Post COVID, I was like, right, I'm just going to experiment with life a bit and just do what I want to do for a bit. So that's where all the travel came in. And I actually did. You remember, Joel? I did a lot of videos while I was traveling. I was always like creating videos, and you was doing a bit of editing for me at the time.
Oh, paid my bills, so I
Yeah,
remember that.
exactly.
That was awesome.
But it was absolutely brilliant. So I really enjoyed it. But right now, at the minute, I just need a bit more focus. So, I'd rather like in terms of dating, I'd rather not date if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I've been pretty much living more like a flipping monk for the last few months,
Mm,
with these new businesses and things. So to me, but it was like I think it was a dopamine validation thing. I did enjoy it. All that travel and stuff like that, and it was just like jumping on that plane, doing what I want to do.
mhm,
Um, and I felt that I was getting addicted to it. It was almost like this is becoming almost like an identity. I talk a lot about
mm,
identity on my channel and
yeah.
obviously in the journal. And I thought maybe that I don't want that as my identity.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Would
So
you say
it's
it
like
was almost like the Peter Pan effect, where it's like you could kind of have that like carefree, like live
yeah.
forever attitude? Yeah.
I I don't think it can be. I don't think it's a forever thing though. I think it's that phase again. It's like you go through these phases, don't you? And I've just become to get over the recent months. I've just got a renewed focus in
Mm,
terms of personal focus, what I want to do, and I've decided that one of the things that I wanted to do was, it sounds really strange, but kill all forms of like dopamine and validation and things like this. And
mhm.
it requires a bit of discipline, you know.
It's hard.
Yeah, yeah. Let
It's
me
hard.
let me just hit that. It just keeps a little pop up on my camera. I was reading something earlier, right, and I was talking to Roberto about this. I always get into books, right? getting
A
getting
true
on to.
scholar, a modern
No,
scholar.
I just found something, and um, it's in this book, The Road Less
Road less travel.
Traveled. Yeah, and it's talking about discipline. I'll just read it, right? It says, discipline has been defined as a system of techniques of dealing constructively with the pain of problem solving instead of avoiding that pain in such a way that all of life's problems can be solved. It talks about four basic techniques, right, which have been established, right? Let me read them to you. Number one, delayed gratification.
Mm,
Number two, assumption of responsibility. Number three, dedication to the truth or reality. And then balancing is the last one,
mm,
right? So that's delayed gratification, which we all know. Assumption of responsibility, which is taking responsibility of your situation. Dedication to the truth or reality, and balancing. So like the most interesting ones out of that, because we know what delayed gratification is, but the last two, dedication to the truth and balancing, are super important, right?
mhm,
Especially when it comes to dating, right? So let's look at dedication to the truth. This means accepting reality and not trying to live a kind of pseudo life that is almost trying to fight against reality, right? And that
Yep.
might be spinning plates is avoiding reality, isn't it? Because you're
Mm,
not really facing the reality that you're not developing anything meaningful. And then balance, which is the fourth thing, and you'll see this a lot with like guys that we speak to and stuff like this, just in terms of the dating life. Balance is avoiding black and white thinking or operating in the extremes at either end, right?
mhm.
So that you might see this as um, black and white thinking might be, oh, all women are bad, they treat me bad, like negativity.
Yeah.
And then, like, let's say the nice guy who gets absolutely walked over all the time,
Uh-huh.
right, gets fed up of it. And what does that nice guy usually do?
Becomes an asshole.
They flip to the extreme, don't they?
Yep.
And become the absolute asshole. So balance is all about finding the balance. Where is it's almost like becoming secure. Where's the secure line?
Mm,
Whereas when you're out of balance, you're operating at either edge of the fringe, right? So you're either
mm,
the complete fucking nice guy that's just getting walked on, or the simp or whatever, or you're being you're trying to be that absolute asshole because you've overcompensated in the opposite direction. So
yeah.
finding balance is like in anything in life, it's like uh, all or nothing thinking, black and white thinking. It's like you can't even when you take a risk on something that is personal to you, you're either super defensive or super open about it. You know, super close
Mm,
or super open. So you might be super anxious or super avoidant. What about being in the middle and just being flipping secure and having balance so that, like, you know, whatever you do in life in terms of your dating, you're not a fucking asshole. You're just a nice guy, but you got some boundaries and things. Not a nice guy. I mean, you're just a
a kind
cool
person.
guy. Well, yeah,
Kind,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, you know, if you think like, you know, that really strong man that you can just tell is like a leader, they're
Yeah.
kind, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, really famous people are kind, aren't they? You know?
Right. And there's something that I love this thread, Andy, because and this is not an excuse for that behavior, but there's something seductive about being on either side of that extreme. There's something like
Yeah,
it's pleasurable. There's an addictive quality.
there
I think
is.
that's why people fall into addiction. Like
Mm,
you're so extreme, you're going so hard, like there's something like there's a rush about it, and then also being on that sometimes in the pity end of it where you're feeling like the
mm,
victim or something isn't right. There can be something an attractive quality there too, and you see people stuck into both sides. And the truth is, being in that balance when you're coming from one or the other, it can be
mm,
boring. There's an element of like
mm,
recalibration. There's not that dopamine hit you get. But why I think this is so important to get to and where most people I think eventually grow into is because it's just so peaceful. You just realize like, oh, peace is way more important to me than having a rush of dopamine here and then you have a huge crash. Like sometimes relationships are going to be boring too. Long-term
yeah.
relationships. Uh, some of the most exciting parts of a relationship are in that beginning, but
Mm,
but it doesn't last and it's very intense. So I really
mm.
like that idea that the key is to kind of come into the middle and learn how to
Yeah,
be with yourself, at least the best you can
yeah.
be. Yeah, you won't be perfect
Yeah,
at
I
it.
mean, there's so many books. I mean, I pulled out a few, but you know, like one of my most successful videos is the review I did of Mark Manson's models, and in there he talks about it. Like he actually says that you've got the nice guy syndrome, which we know is needy,
Mm-hmm.
but he also says the arsehole is also needy because they're like putting on an
Mm,
act. They're putting on an act to get what they want, you know.
mm-hmm.
And I kind of get on board with that, and then you'll see the same thing in like I've got it here, Ron Wills, you know, nice guys and players, brilliant. You know, Ron Wills is a legend, right? Um, nice guys is the nice guy. The player is
Okay.
the player. This is the arsehole.
Mm,
And what he says is, you want to become what he calls the real man, that integrated man. And you could
mm,
say that from a psychological perspective, that's like integrating your shadow and stuff, right? Which is
mm,
quite a deep topic, but and that's also in this book, isn't it? You know, getting the love that you want. You recommended this to me, and I did a lot of reviews and video. This is a brilliant book,
great book,
right?
mate. You've gone
When
through
when
it.
you're operating on the fringes, that book says you go for the missing part of you, right? So if you're
Mm,
anxious, the missing part of you is the avoidant. If you're avoidant, the missing part is the anxious, that kind of thing. But back
mm,
to this, right? And Mark Manson's models. Um, one of the issues is the reason why the players, right? Some of your clients, Joel. But I'm
boys.
talking like I'm more referring to these guys that stay in that game for like 10 years, just a permanent
Yeah,
player, right?
yeah.
The reason why they never quite get the girl that they want
Mm,
is because the girl with the high esteem or whatever, the functional girl, the secure girl, can just figure it out somehow that they're not quite integrated. You know, there's something
mm,
wrong there. They might be attractive because, they're a playboy, but there's something there, right? And you've got to do that kind of, let's call it personal work, to
right.
become integrated, right?
Yep.
And
Absolutely. Keep rolling this, Andy. I just got a buzz at the door, so I'm gonna go check it
yeah,
out.
no worries,
So
no
keep
worries.
rolling,
Yeah,
keep rolling.
yeah, sure. So yeah, I'll just carry on just for the audience while Joe's going there. Yeah, and he also states that in Mark Manson's Models, which is this book. Yeah, brilliant book. Same concept. It's all what Mark calls basically needy, whether you're on the the nice guy or the arsehole, you still need it, right? Something else that when you picked up about relationships when they fall apart,
Yeah.
when you get that initial honeymoon, there's a section in this book that I read earlier on that, right? And I'm just going to pick it out because it's really important, right? It talks about falling in love, right? And this really resonated me, right? Because when you meet someone and it feels really intense initially and you have that massive honeymoon period and you got
Hmm.
all them like massive amounts of like feelings
Yeah.
that you get, the kind of dopamine and everything. It's not the kind of healthy um, feelings. It's almost like love bombing too much, right? So
Yeah.
you'll get that and it's super intense, right? And this, one of the reasons for that is, when like when if you meet someone that's like a little bit insecure or like not fully formed or maybe like difficult childhood, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Everyone's had their issues. No one's perfect, right? And no one's bang on secure. No one's in the middle. But let's say you meet someone on either end of the fringes, and it might be like a really avoidant girl, but though it feels like love bombing, right? The
Hmm.
reason for that is because that person, uh, and I think this is in like maybe culture, we're
Hmm.
taught that we have to find someone. So we're like half, and we have to find our other half or our twin
Mm.
flame. All these bollocks terms, right?
Twin flame.
Um, so people that haven't worked on their spiritual self tend to not feel whole, right?
Hmm.
So if you get into a relationship where you find that other person, then and you've got these walls up because you're avoidant, you'll temporarily drop those walls for that person, those boundaries. But all it is a temporary drop of the boundaries, right? And then
Mm.
you'll feel whole with that person. So you'll meet that person, you'll feel like it's love, it'll be super intense, right? And then it feels like one whole, two people,
Hmm.
right? And then over time, those walls, those boundaries slowly come back. Them that temporary. It's got it here actually. Um, if falling in love is not love, I've not read all of it, so you haven't got the context. But if falling in love is not love, then what is it other than a temporary or partial collapse of ego boundaries,
Mm.
right? And then it says here somewhere. Hang on, let me have a look. Uh, or to put it another rather crass way, falling in love is a trick that our genes pull on our otherwise perspective mind to hoodwink or trap us into marriage. Right? And then, frequently the trick goes awry and one way or another, or when the sexual drives and stimuli are homosexual, I don't know what it's talking about here, another 40. Right? But basically,
When
on
you
the other
turn gay.
hand, right, what it's saying, on the other hand, without this trick, this illusory and inevitably temporary, it would not be practical were it not temporary, regression to infantile merging and omnipotence. It's using some big language here. Many of us who are happily or unhappily married would have retreated in wholehearted terror from the realism of the marriage vows. What it's trying to say is, I'm going to paraphrase here because that didn't mean anything. What he's getting at is eventually those temporary collapse of the ego boundaries come back. And this is when you
Mm.
start to see things like little behaviors, like maybe it's like some little annoying behaviors. And what actually happens when those ego boundaries come back, that person can realize actually they are actually two separate people. So you know
Mm,
that merging together, you need the other person to become one. And then when once over time you actually figure that you actually have differences, little differences. It might be like, why are they putting the socks in the washer like that? Or why are they cleaning the windows? Like little annoying little things. You
right.
realize you're individuals. And once you realize you're individuals, that vision of that creating that, whole,
Mm,
gone.
for
Relationships
sure.
absolutely fucked at that point because
Right.
it's not based on coming to the relationship as a whole first.
Mm.
It's like
So
one half of a broken thing or whatever, and that
s-
vision just gets shattered, and then it's like it's goose then from that point.
yeah, and I hear what you're saying. I talked to our last podcast. We talked about this. How like you'll never be completely whole entering a relationship. So there's that side of to look at it too, because it's like a relationship helps you kind of grow in a lot of areas and become a
Mm,
better person. So where would you say is that line then where it's like, okay, like we're seeing we're individuals, like we're not one unit as maybe we believed. um there's these things that annoy me, because every relationship there's something that's going to annoy you about the other person. What
mm,
is the love that, like, what keeps it together then, would you say? I have a couple ideas, but I want to
mm.
hear your
Well,
thoughts on it.
firstly, the idea of like there's this kind of modern psychology idea that you have to become, come into the relationship as one fully formed human, just like I said. Like you've worked on you. There's this like concept where you have to love yourself first. I think that's bollocks and possibly a little bit egotistical, and the
Mm,
worst end is narcissistic. Like the idea that you have to love yourself is fucking nonsense. We're social creatures, so we do have to. Um, we want to find someone, right?
mhm.
Ideally, even the playboy, even the people that will just go doing like fucking 30 approaches a week for 10 years, deep down, even the avoidant or the people that just do short-term dating, no matter what you do,
Yep.
everyone would rather find a really good partner. I think deep down, everyone wants to find the perfect person, no matter where
Yes.
you're coming
Mm.
from it, whether you're avoiding. The avoidant wants love. They just don't
Oh
know how
yeah.
to get it.
Yep.
The playboy wants love. They're just avoiding, you know, the short term. There's avoiding knocking on the head what they have to knock on the head, which is
uh,
the short term
mm,
dating. Right. So we're social creatures. We all want to find someone, right? And I think that's what getting the love that you want goes through quite well in the
mm,
introduction. It's like it admits that we have these needs. And it goes back to what I said earlier, it's finding the balance,
mm.
right? You don't have to be, because if all you do is figuring out how to love yourself and just be happy single, then, you know, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can
It
be.
is a bit narcissistic. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean, like Roberto said to me, like, you can just be single and be happy, and it's like, yeah, of course you can, but I'm pretty sure everyone would prefer not to be.
yeah,
And
yeah, and there's like
if they're
there's a
saying otherwise, I think they're a bit disingenuous. I think
yeah,
they're.
everyone, and there's a deep happiness that comes from giving
Mm,
to somebody else too. And I think that's where people that
correct.
fall in love with themselves miss. Like they don't find joy in helping others. And so they live
Mm.
a pretty self-centered life. And
Yeah.
it just seems does not, and eventually they just realize they're pretty unhappy. And I did that too. I went from muck mode for years. I'm like, I got to figure myself out, I got to get right. And I did have to get right in a lot of areas, but then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of lonely. Like I realized like the piece that was missing was connecting with other people.
Mm,
And of course in a relationship, like a relationship is a lot of giving, it's a lot of showing up for somebody else, self-sacrifice, all that stuff. But there's such a
mm,
joy in that when you're like, you get out of your own head. I come from an addiction recovery background, for those of you guys that don't know, and that's what keeps people sober, is getting into service, whether it's through your community, but basically the key is just get out of your own self-centered way, and you're gonna be happy. And you won't need drugs anymore or alcohol or whatever. And that's what I think a lot of people miss in today's modern world, and especially in the Western world, where everyone has so many resources and access um to material wealth and all that. And you're frozen right now, and you're in a very funny spot on the screen here. I'll bring up
You're right,
this
Joel.
second thing. There we go. So anyway, I don't know if you guys, if Andy's still frozen, but you look like you just did a bunch of drugs, to be to be honest. But until he comes back online, essentially what I'm getting to is that, yeah, finding a way to start helping out in little ways is really going to add a lot of happiness to your life and to your existence, because you start to realize that you're not the soul, like you're not the center of the universe, and that can be very freeing in a lot of ways. It can take a lot of the pressure off. Hey man, I got you on the cruddy camera.
All right,
now.
hang on.
Did your other one die or something?
Yeah, I'm just charging it though.
Okay.
So we'll have to put up with the shit lighting. Is that? Can you still see me and hear me?
I'm gonna get rid of you because Andy, you can hear this on the back. I'm gonna get rid of you because there's an echo. So yeah, just we'll wait until you come back on. Get it together, Andy. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, he'll come back on a couple of minutes here. But yeah, feel free to drop any questions or any comments you guys have. See, there's a few people in the chat right now, and this has been a really great conversation on kind of what it takes to step into that next level, become a more secure individual. And I think that's maybe where we can lead when Andy's computer comes back on, is kind of the key out of overcoming avoidance or anxious, whatever side you're on, is coming to that secure. So everything in life's a paradox, because you need that balance. Like you need to be selfish to become unselfish. You need to become unselfish to be happy within yourself. So it's a very fine line. And I think coming into yourself and learning how to be one is really important for learning how to be more secure, because you realize that, like the girl I'm seeing now, we've been in a committed relationship for like 4 months now. And I know I have confidence that if things don't work out, I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to be able to find happiness and joy in this life, whether she's part of it or not. But before I couldn't do that. And before I didn't have that security within myself. So there's an element of needing to go into a bit of narcissism in a way to kind of come into who you are. But eventually that needs to change, and to be like, okay, I'm happy with myself. How can I become more of a altruistic person? How can I be giving to those in my life, those in my community, wherever it might be? And of course, one day, if you do want a family, it's definitely like, from my friends that, I grew up with that have kids and families now, they're like, yeah, like it's not about me anymore. That's like one thing I hear time and time again. They're like, it's, I still want to be happy and stuff. And I got to find ways to keep myself, like, enjoy pleasure in life. But it can't be all about my self-centered needs now, because I'm taking care of another person, which is a lot of responsibility. So yeah, let's see. Hey, how's it going over there?
Yeah, do you want me to join on the other? I can join, but I'm going to have to mute.
Okay, this one should work. Let me. Oh, that sounded fucking terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Just join the other one.
Yeah, we'll just. Oh my god, that was awful. So this is your OG, but now there's like an echo on the other one. So this one's fine. I mean, I think
is there an echo? Hang
on the other one.
Try it.
Okay. Let's see. Unmute yourself on the one you're on now, on the nicer one. Technical difficulties, guys. Thank you for being patient. You gotta unmute yourself, mate.
Right, is that better?
There we go. Okay, we're back. We're back to how things were.
Yeah, but I can't hear anything though.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I bet the audio's terrible at the minute because I've not plugged in my.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's
I
definitely like
need
a
to charge it.
okay. Oh, yikes.
But at least we're back, right?
Yeah, this should be fine.
Yeah. I
We're
think
coming.
what you were just saying there is bang on, and I was gonna allude to this is worth a read because at the start of it, it does actually explore that section about why why we still need connection,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of shits on the modern day take on this kind of love yourself first. It absolutely annihilates it in this book, which is really worth a read. So I think
Yeah.
that's worth something. And what I'd add here is the conversations that I have with Roberto about the not needing, say, addiction. This
Mm-hmm.
kind of, when you talk about addiction, I think everything's addiction, right?
Mm.
Um, Short-term dating, which is kill the playboy, that is just a form of addiction and
Mm-hmm.
avoidance. And he talks a lot about that, Roberto, and he's sort of really good on it. Almost saying like there's like an element of discipline to it. That
Mm.
balance, finding that balance is actually pretty hard to do, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we must do. Find the balance.
It's very tough. And I think it was Dave Ramsey. He had a really good podcast. He's like, life is never in balance. Like there's never this sometimes there's these perfect moments, it feels like, but
Mm.
then that will like shift. So like everything's always kind of just like going like this. Like if you're ever driving, you actually make hundreds of micro adjustments
Mm.
every minute just by moving the wheel a little bit. So it's never like the wheels like you never can just like take your hands off and just go. So that
But
really helped me kind of take the pressure off of needing to find like a perfect balance for everything. Like
mm.
everything's always going to be shifting and fluctuating. Uh, So it's more, I think, a juggling act,
Can you
really.
see one of Chris's comments there where it says 1031 avoidance of lower responsiveness to oxytocin, that one.
Hmm.
Right, this kind of figures it out here. So yeah, the avoidance, they can't get the oxytocin's like it's like for bonding, right?
Yeah.
So like out of those kind of like, are they like hormones? It's like
Yep.
oxytocin. So
Neurochemicals.
yeah, they can't get oxytocin, so they need more dopamine. You know what I mean? So that's the idea. So that
Hmm.
it's like the classic trait of avoidance is more dopamine, more rush, more you know. But you can't bond basically. So they can't actually form a bond.
Right. Hmm.
Oxytocin is something that you develop in childhood with your parents,
Okay.
like bonding to your mother. Whereas if you have that
Ah,
correct bond, it's like mother and baby bond is oxytocin, isn't it?
that's why I struggle with addiction. That makes
Yeah,
perfect sense. Because I was
yeah,
adopted, so I never got that moment.
yeah.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah, you need to reparent yourself, mate.
Yeah. Just gonna
But
hug myself.
yeah, literally. I mean, no, you can do it. I mean, I read in a few strategies like this. There's something called Big U, Little U,
Mm,
like personal therapy, where you just
yep,
have a conversation with your younger self.
for
End of the
sure.
day, you can, that oxytocin. If you're not getting it, then the dopamine. You're always going for dopamine. Everyone's fucking
Yeah.
addicted to dopamine, to be fair. And that's one of our things. It's like back to them.
Yes.
What did we say? Them four. Um, Hang on, go back to it. I'm labouring the point. I know,
No, you're good.
but worth
We're in it.
labouring.
We're in it deep.
The four basic techniques: delayed gratification, assumption of responsibility, dedication to the truth or reality, and balancing. So if you think about dedication to the truth, that is literally just denying reality, right? And you can deny reality in many ways. It could be
Hmm.
weed, it could be alcohol, it could be any distraction.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it might be. You know, women, short-term dating is just another form of addiction, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's just denying reality,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Oh,
so the
beautifully said,
discipline is
man.
them 4 things. Yeah.
Discipline. Discipline. And that is definitely another podcast for
I
sure.
think so.
On
Bring Chris
discipline.
on next time as well with us. You know.
Yeah, we can do a chat. Get Jaren on too. We can have a
Mm.
little round table. That's
Yeah.
solid.
So
Wow,
how's
it's been
how's
good.
things going then now for you, Joe? All happy?
It's going good. What's funny is that no, not every moment is happy, but I'm happy to finally accept that. Where before I was like looking for a girlfriend so I could like never feel pain again. But there's been a
Mm.
lot of moments in our relationship where I've had to bring up difficult conversations or something bugged me, and I've really made it a goal to bring it up immediately if
Yeah.
it makes me upset. I've had to learn how to do that in a more skillful way because there's been times where, like kind of like you were saying, like I swung the pendulum too far where I used to never say if something bugged me.
Mm.
And then I took it too far where I'm like, oh, this makes me upset. I never like screamed or anything like crazy, but I would really shut down. So now I'm learning how to have healthy conflict resolution. And all I know is that each time we've had a disagreement that feels potentially like relationship ending,
Mm.
we sit down, we talk about it. We both like, hey, I make sure I reassure like I'm not wanting to leave. I want to work through this, and she says the same. And then we just become closer. So I think that's a really good piece that guys can take away if you're starting to get into relationships or want something like more long term to bring things up. Um, I know I've seen dynamics where people wouldn't bring things up, and then they would 20 years later they'd be like, "Oh yeah, this pisses me off." It's like,
Yeah.
well, dude, you could have told me that like 20 years ago.
I found another nugget for us, Joe.
Yeah,
I
rip
I
it.
think I think here now I found another nugget in this book, and it's called bracketing, right? And bracketing is um, treating each individual moment like being sort of in the moment, say, present at that
Hmm.
point, without any preconceived opinions. Quite hard to do. So bracketing is like there's a line here. Each time I approach a strange object, person, or event, I have a tendency to let my present needs, so your present needs, past experience, or even expectations for the future determine what I will see, right? So, what it's saying is if you've got, like, I don't know, carrying a bit of baggage or whatever, this is where you let the past dictate what you currently see.
Mm,
And this is
yeah.
something that I spoke about with Roberto at great length, right? When you've developed yourself spiritually, right, to the point where you kind of okay, irrespective of what happens. It's like when you go out on a date with your girl, you should treat that as an individual moment, right?
Mm,
It
hmm.
might be the last time you see her, and
Mm,
that's okay. So just enjoy that particular date. And it's something that Roberto said, and also it's Neville Ravikant. He said it quite a lot
yeah.
in his tweets. Is like, be childlike, treat every situation like it's the first time you've ever experienced it, instead of bringing in all these preconceived fucking biases and opinions.
Yeah.
So you can just enjoy it in the moment, right? So it's like every day is like the first day, right? And it's like,
Mm,
all right, but you're not going to go in with any preconceived opinions and
that's
just
so hard to do, man.
enjoy
I love
that
that.
moment. Yeah,
I'm starting to understand it because you told me that before. Only until this moment has it kind of made sense.
yeah.
That can be tough. Yeah, that can be tough sometimes.
And I believe that that's the only way you can do a long distance relationship, right? The only way you
Mm,
can have a long distance relationship, because it could work. Can work.
Yeah.
Doesn't always. Not saying any other relationship works, but the only way you can survive a long distance relationship is when you meet that person. Just don't bring any preconceived opinions and just treat it like we said in the dating avoidant women. You might meet her, you might see her for like a weekend or whatever, or a week, and then
Mhm.
you go away for several weeks, and that, but you just enjoy that time together, right? Without expectation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not carrying any preconceived opinions, and you also don't have any
Yeah.
expectation. It might be the last time you see her, and it's like, yeah, just be grateful for that particular moment,
Right.
and that's how you should
That's
live. It's like, it's called bracketing. It's a flipping lovely concept I read in this book.
that's so good for long-term relationships because like you said, and like one of our mates, his name's Thomas, he goes by the professional wingman. He has like his own little brand and stuff.
All right.
He's been married for years now and they're happy. They're always posting photos together. I'm like, I asked him, I'm like, how do you stay so happy? Like, and he's like, oh, I treat her like I did the first day I met her. And I was just like,
Mhm.
oh, like that's such a good. So I think this is a way to frame that.
Yeah, that's hard though, right?
Oh, it ain't easy. It's yeah, it's a skill in itself to do it.
Yeah.
But
Do you know what it needs? That you have to absolutely select the right person. There's only certain people
sure.
that you could. It's like, if you meet the right person. I don't know about you, right? I've been in this scenario where if you meet that person that you really like, you never get fucking bored of them. Like, you don't not find them attractive. You
Mhm.
you could be with them for 10 years and still find them attractive. So it needs to be absolutely bang on for the attraction, and then you'll never get bored. But yeah, developing that mindset, like where it's almost like every moment you just enjoy it for what it is, and it's like, if you can live life like that, it's like, have you ever listened to any of the kind of um, Buddhists talk about this? Where I can't remember the channel. You got these really big channels where the Buddhists talk about it, and I think they kind of explain it, like, it's like, what's um, Siddhartha Buddha's most famous quote. I think it's something like, uh, uh, um, attachment is suffering, or something like this, right? And what it's basically saying is, it's teaching detachment, right? But what it's basically saying is, your attachment, to that kind of, like, what's like to happen, how your thing and all that, is the suffering. Whereas what you should do is just accept it for what it is, and just, like, love freely, basically.
Mm.
I was just trying to think of a good way to explain it. Like,
Love without expectations, like
well, yeah, but that's like tick not hand stuff, isn't it? Love the other person as the other person doesn't feel free. I'm just trying to think of a deeper meaning, a deeper way of explaining it. My brain's just flipping frazzled right now because it's late. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, that bracketing. It's like, yeah, I do believe that. Just enjoy it for the moment
mm,
and accepting it. And it's like, if it doesn't work out, let's say that's the last time you see her, are you still going to be all right with it? Can you still accept and live with the memory
yeah,
and be okay? Which is, I think, it's a hard thing.
it is. When I had my breakup in October last year, if you would have told me before that trip, Joel, this might be the last time you see her. I'm like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah. Oh,
I haven't seen her since, and it was just like,
well,
so it was very weird. Yeah.
yeah, but if you approach it like that, why is it that when you're not that flipping bothered, that it just seems to go on and on and on, the relationship, when you're not bothered? But the minute you get attached to it, all of a sudden, everything starts to fall apart,
Well,
right?
I think to that you can get attached, but there's a way to get attached that
Yeah.
isn't going to be needy or push them away. And that we could that would be another good podcast, like how to get attached without getting attached, I guess would be the way to put it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think maybe you
Yeah.
have to have your
Like,
heart broken a few
yeah. Yeah.
times, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's experience and things like that, but I think there becomes a point where it's a self-development spirituality thing, like where you're just okay either way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what it is. But yeah, I can't think of the words right now. You know what I mean? If I went away, I probably spoke about it in videos. You know, I can't think of the words right now. But I've had many chats with Roberto about this. And I
Nice.
think
Hey,
that's the way to approach life as well. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. Like be genuinely detached in many areas. You know, you want to be
Mm-hmm.
detached in terms of like never panic. You know, even if it's in your business life, and that's what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I'd say. Are there any more comments from Chris? Should we have a look?
Let's see. I do gotta hop here pretty soon, Andy,
Yeah,
so
me too.
we could probably wrap it up soon.
Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that. I'm absolutely shot anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've just been
All
out
right.
with Sam actually earlier because we had a bit of a business meeting and then went
Nice.
for dinner. Yeah, so yeah, just got back. We had to goal
Oh,
achievement.
nice. I saw your story.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
bringing a new team member, by the way,
Oh yeah.
to the.
Let's go. Progress, baby. Yeah, so this
Yeah,
is
cool.
guys, this is
I'm on
Andy's
this board.
products. I got the opportunity to help craft it a bit. I got
Yeah,
mine
I
sitting over
finished
there.
my first one. 100%, not missed a day. Been journaling for years, but since I developed my own, you always miss a day, right? But I have not missed a single day in that, so it's fully finished. And the best
Impressive.
thing about it is you go back through. So yeah, we had a meeting about it. We're bringing on a new team member soon. Oh, you got yours there.
Damn right.
Yeah, we
Yes,
ship
sir.
everywhere, even to Mexico City. Flipping heck, I'm
Yep.
in the UK.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll put the link down below.
Yeah. I've
It's
already put it.
helped me a bunch, because what I really like about this journal, guys, is that Andy, what you teach in this is like you only have to really accomplish a few things a day.
Yeah.
That's what you have in it. 3 things you got to write down, and you have to get those done. And I remember watching a podcast with he's on the Shark Tank. What's his name?
Yeah.
Robert. And he does the same thing. He's like, I only had to do 3 things a day. And it takes such the pressure off, because I was like, I have to complete my whole business today. And if I don't, I'm a failure. And this
Yeah.
really just is like, yo, you only need to make a few solid strides every single day. Like, don't beat
Well,
yourself
what
to the ground.
happens, right? You know, when I used to do this, what happens when you create a to-do list of 20 things?
Mm.
You know what you do? A form of procrastination is, they call it, you should eat the frog. You might have heard that term.
Yeah.
So eat the frog is do the difficult thing. But what do people do when they got a list of 20? They do the easy.
They
They
fill
pick
up
off
their coffee.
they pick off the nonsense things that are adding no value. Like, whereas what you should do is pick what are the top 3 things, eat the frog, do the hard things. They're the ones that are going to move the needle, and forget about the other 17. Don't even do them. You know,
Yeah.
because they're not going to get you anywhere, right? So that's a form of procrastination. So yeah, the 3 things a day. You can't do 20 things a day. Well, you might be able
No.
to do it once in your life for one day, but you can do 3 things consistently forever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey, man.
consistency is a discipline, isn't it? Just like, just to wrap this up, we'll go back to it because I love labouring the point here. Where are we on now? Not bracketing, because we've just done that. Yeah, the 4 basic techniques of discipline, right? Delayed gratification, which involves, in the dating context, that involves saying no to the almost do girls to reserve yourself for something of meaningful intent. Delayed gratification, go for intent. Assume responsibility. So that's responsibility for yourself. dedication to the truth or reality, which is like, stop telling yourself lies, just admit. It's a bit like the 12-step thing, that, is it? Like, accept responsibility here. You know, it's like, I can't do this on my own type thing.
Yes.
And then balancing, you know, finding the balance of life, and they are the disciplines, right? Consistency. Yeah. All right, Joe.
Oh yeah, there's still a mosquito.
All right.
So I had to let him go. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it's all right. No, get ready.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, did you get bad mosquitoes there?
Sometimes they. It's been rainy season, so I think there's more of them. But yeah, so yeah, guys, definitely check out the Goal Achievement Journal. We'll link it down below. And then, of course, as well, coming over to our other channel, MaxPat Dating, where we teach cold approach, we teach online dating. That's actually what I'm going to be doing after this. I got to edit a video for that channel. So I'm going to be breaking down one of our clients' cold approaches. He's another Asian guy, and his name's Joel Henry. Random enough. Same name. Way. Yep. Asian dude, Joel Henry. Went to Poland to start his cold approach journey. But yeah, it's hilarious.
No
yep, Joel Henry, man.
Is he 6 foot tall like you, though?
We're about the same height. Yep.
There can't be two Asian guys at 6 foot tall.
With the same name. Both. He's half Korean too.
Is he?
I'm full Korean, but he's half. And the funniest part, but we do have a difference. So he's very small. So he's starting to like get into the gym and stuff. Yeah. But he's like a genius Asian. Like he graduated university at 17.
Yeah.
At 17. So he's like, I basically did a class a day. So he's a genius Asian. Yeah, I'm a creative
I like
Asian.
guys like that. I'll tell you why I like guys like that, right? Because I've helped a few guys like that, right? Those really smart young guys like that, they don't know their own value. If he could just master all these little skills, like master his emotions, get trained off you, and then recognize the power that he can have later in life with his brain, with it, you know, if he develops his kind of like emotional intelligence, and he's obviously got the intellectual intelligence.
Yep.
Can you imagine how powerful he could be in terms of getting his needs met in life? That's why I like those guys. They're guys that are like, you know, years ahead in the school. Yep. They're just so clever. They generally don't know their own power, the power that they can actually generate. And
yeah.
I also like believe that it's good to be a bit of a late bloomer at times. Like, you know, you don't have to be the flipping Chad at school. No, you know, if you focused on your education and all that kind of thing, that's part of the delayed gratification again. You know, you don't need to be the complete living like the Chad now. Develop first. Long-term thinking and develop inherent value. You know, like you can significantly advance your career and your skills. And all the other stuff you can bolt on and develop yourself over time. So yeah, I like guys like that.
He's going to be a killer.
Figure out how powerful they are.
Yeah, he's already making like 15K a month at 2021. So exactly. He's like, yeah, he's going to be a killer. Just he's got to hone in a few things. So yeah, definitely check out that vid, guys. Like he's a funny guy. But he's just got to slow down his talking when he's approaching girls, because girls like him. He's good looking. He just talks a little fast. And then of course, guys, we help guys start to get into their dating life and start to put the pieces together, whether it's, you know, we've helped guys get girlfriends. We've helped guys just, you know, have rotations, whatever it might be. We definitely can help you in that area. And we've developed a pretty plug and play system where you can start to just kind of put some of the pieces together very simply and start getting results very fast. So that's what we're here to help you with. You can schedule, you can fill out an application down below to work with us. And if you're a good fit, we'll definitely hop on a call with you and take the next steps. But, you know, we love what we do and we love coaching guys and And like we said in this whole podcast, man, like there's phases to life and there's phases to dating. So, you might not resonate with this podcast as much. Maybe you're still like trying to learn how to have a dating life and get out there, have confidence, talk to women. That's definitely a very important step. And there's going to be just challenges and hurdles to overcome along the way, but it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a journey you won't forget. So we are excited to be able to help you with that. And then, of course, check out Andy Holt on his YouTube channel. Is freaking blowing up. You're at what, like almost 2,000 subs?
Yeah, it's still yeah, it is actually. It's doing all right now, but it's still a complimentary thing.
Yeah.
One thing I would say, Joel, is if you go to my links, one thing you probably want to check out is from either probably on my channel or even my Instagram, I've got a link to my website. Go to my reading list, right? Because all the books that I've talked about are on there, and I provide a little summary. So it's andyholt.co.uk, and then go to my reading list. I've got like a decent collection of these. This is a good one, Mode 1. Right, Nice Guys and Players is good. It's really quick, that one. Models. The original attached.
Such a good book.
And Getting the Love That You Want, right?
Such a good book.
There's many other books, right? But just by reading them, you'll understand all the concepts that we've talked about here, which is all about like moving to dating intentionally.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
As part of your, it's like what you do, when you're teaching these guys the various skills, like social skills. That is a skill that you have to learn, right? And you might need to be in that space for about 2 or 3 years before you've really got it down. But it's just a skill that, it's like I spent a lot of time with a coach going through emotional intelligence for business negotiation. It's the same flipping language, right? The same business negotiation is surprisingly similar as dating,
Yeah.
There's equivalents. And understanding those communication skills is really good. So I find that reading them books and, go and get some coaching and all that stuff, what I always find is once you improve them kind of emotional intelligence skills, everything else starts to get better. You start doing better in business. Because to do well in business, you need the communication skills, right? Unless you're just going to be, off camera, completely back of house, 14 hours in dark corners, coding all day, which is okay for some. If you want to get ahead in business, you need to learn about communication, sales, and marketing.
Yep. What's up? Yeah, it should be on the couch out there. Yeah. Yeah.
The reading list.
Yes, it's a great reading list, guys. Definitely check it out. So yeah, I do have to hop here, guys. I gotta get this vid done. It was in my to-do list for today. So
nice one.
Gonna crank that out.
Thanks for having us
on. Thanks for coming on, man, and thanks for having me on your channel as well. This has been a fun cast, and we will definitely be having more of these in the future. So tune into the next one, guys, and we'll see you soon.